Hey, welcome back. Back for episode 2. This is Angel AK60, back with the Back of the House Boys show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Back with Buck.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back.
All right, and today we're joined by a special guest, JR. If you want to say hey,
What's up?
JR.
What up? What up?
All right, you want to introduce yourself a little bit, JR?
Yeah, so just here with Buck, Angel, known these guys a little while, so we're just gonna chop it up, talk about sports, do our thing.
Gotcha.
There you go.
All right. So we're just gonna start off with some week 2 review over week 2, week 3, depends on who you played, because USC. Week 2 review of CFB. Not much to go down for me. I kind of turned the game off, just kind of blacked out Saturday night, didn't really care. So just go down the list. Buck, feel free to join in if you want. We'll just go down the list quickly. Just like I said, I kind of blacked out. JR, feel free to join in if you'd like as well. I know you are a CFB fan, but I know you're more of the
Yeah,
NFL
not
side.
as much as you guys. I'll keep up with it, but not as much. But
I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. All right. So going down the list, it was a Thursday night matchup with Louisville and Murray State. Nothing really too crazy. Um, Kansas. I think Kansas is going to be a team to reckon with. Jalen Daniels. I about said Jaden Daniels. Jalen Daniels. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. All I'm saying is when they go to Texas, not a Texas hater, but not a Texas fan. Georgia had a crazy game against Ball State. Shut them out. Michigan handling the work. Florida State also doing its thing. Ohio State taking care of business. Just going down the list. Alabama's the next on my game or next on my list. Alabama, Texas, obviously. Did end up taking the L. Quinn Ewers, I knew was a good quarterback to start. I knew he was gonna give us some problems, and Texas just showed that they were the more experienced team that night. Came into I was hoping it's kind of difficult for them to play there. At times it may have been, but they kind of just handled their business and took care of us like yesterday's meatloaf. So overall QB play, I'm not mad at Jalen Milroe just because he was put into a situation. This is what start number 4 for him. He was put into a situation to play a good team. Not saying that we should have lost. I'm not giving him that. Just the fact that you kind of expect to win, and that's what Alabama standard is. You expect to bully the guys. You expect to run all over them, take care of business, and overall just end the night with a good W. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Quinn Ewers came in with Texas, handled the business, gave us that work. But I'm still gonna back Jalen Milroe, Coach Saban. He said Milroe was the guy to start. I'm gonna back Milroe because that's what Coach Saban wants. Definitely would like to see him kind of schemed better. Tommy Reese, he's a mobile quarterback. I get, we're running him up the gut and stuff, but like I'd like to see him out more on the perimeter. I get, he's still learning as a passer, but he's still a quarterback. He's still got plenty of talent. Another thing is the wide receivers need to, kind of help him out. The line needs to help him out, and the defense, can only hold on for so long. They they did their thing, but 0 sacks. I can probably count on my hand how many pressures we had. Overall, it wasn't our best ball. We did, Texas earned it, but still a young season, a lot ahead, and with the SEC schedule coming up shortly, I mean, just gonna have to put our head down and work. So, I'm excited, but I'm sad that we did lose. You want to speak anything about that?
I was at the Tennessee Austin P game last weekend, so I didn't chance to watch much of any ball other than the travesty that I saw on Saturday with Tennessee struggling against Austin P. It was a 10-point game in the fourth quarter against Austin P.
I didn't even know that. I
So
remember you texting me about that, but I
yeah, it was
what did the
awful.
final score in that game?
It was 30-13.
Nice.
So I mean, they were a 50-point favorite though, like over
Nice.
S&P. Yeah. So
It's kind of like Clemson. I think what was it like the first half or something like that? It was like a pretty close game with
yeah,
they were
and they
Charleston
pulled
Southern.
away.
Yeah, they
I
were
mean,
tied for a little while.
yeah, it's just one of those things where you expect the team to go in, handle the business. Not saying Austin P is a walk team. You still got to show up, play. But I mean,
They
Tennessee.
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, you're good. Just Tennessee. I mean, they're obviously the more you know developed program. Not saying Austin P isn't, but just one of those teams you kind of pay to show up, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you expect to blow them out, and they did not. So I mean, it is what it is. But I was kind of like scratched that we didn't get to see any like Liava play. Joe Milton was the only quarterback to play the whole time. Which, if you're gonna play Nico, get him any reps, that would be the game to do it. And they haven't traded him yet. So I think he's gonna play like more. I think they're just waiting for Milton to just mess up, honestly, like before they go. I hope that's not the case. Like I hope that doesn't happen. But I mean, that's what it looks like to me. The offense was so bland on Saturday. It was just screen pass after screen pass, like just runs up the gut. Joe Milton didn't complete a pass. He was like 1-11 before he completed a pass to a receiver. His only pass that he completed before that was to a running back, just off a screen. So that wasn't a good start at all. So
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like us. It looks like we were just trying to run screens. Yeah, we did have the deep ball here and there, but I mean the offense just. I mean Milrow couldn't do anything. I mean it's like I said, it's just one of those things where you expect Tommy Reese to play to the quarterback's abilities or scheme to the quarterback's abilities. Sorry. And I mean, that's just one of the things that's going to have to happen as the season goes. I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing with, Hendon, Joe Milton. Sorry. But I mean, it's just one of those things you have to adapt to the circumstances and the QB play. And just, that's the biggest thing is just adapting.
mhm.
But I mean, it's like you said, I mean, I know you're not, I mean, you're not happy with the performance, especially with one of those things where you kind of need to build off of this because I know you have a big game this weekend. So, I mean, you
Yeah,
would love
and
to.
that's what I keep telling myself is that they were, just trying to keep the offense bland, just not to give anything to
Yeah.
Florida. But I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
for
really
sure.
know. They had a players only meeting, and
Mhm.
apparently Joe Milton took responsibility for everything. I mean, that shows leadership, but I mean, he's not responsible for hitting receivers in the hands and the ball bouncing off of their hands. So
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I
he
mean,
is responsible for like not getting a good ball there. However, but
yeah, I mean,
it is what it is. We'll see what happens Saturday.
takes command of the offense. He's supposed to be the leader. I mean, it's the same thing with Melrose. Saw a lot of the guys, backing him up on social media. He was getting a lot of criticism, hate. That's what the Tide. It's big brand like that. You're gonna get a lot of criticism. You're gonna, especially with the amount of people that were there that weekend. Just to get ragdolled in your own house. I mean, you're gonna let someone come in, whoop your ass on your own turf. Like that doesn't look pretty. But still a young season, a lot ahead. Washington still looks really good. Penn State looks really good. USC, I mean, they have the reigning Heisman, number one Heisman odds winner as well. Again, like as far as better favorites. I do want to talk about Notre Dame. Sam Hartman. He
Sam Hartman
continues to
is
improve.
him.
Yeah, he continues to impress. Sorry to the state fans that had to experience that, but
Listen, we hung in there for a little while, and it looked like it was gonna happen, but then he kicked it into overdrive, and he really did not. He did not have any spare feelings for us, so it's
yeah,
all
that
good.
that thunderstorm delay, really kind of just helped him reflect on how much he hates NC State and just
Apparently,
took
he's been
over.
giving us the work since Wake Forest days, and I respect that man. I
Yeah,
respect that man.
looks like Utah, squeezed the win through Baylor. Baylor had that. I wouldn't say it's an upsetting win against who was that?
Wyoming, I think.
Texas State last week. I think they played Texas. Yeah, Texas State. Yeah,
Texas.
Yeah, Texas State. Baylor played Texas State last week. It's
Oh, Wyoming played Texas Tech. I think that's what it was last week, right?
yeah,
Wyoming
Texas
beat
Tech.
Texas Tech last week. That's what
Yeah,
I was thinking
yeah.
of.
Baylor lost to Texas State. I forgot who the quarterback is. He was the Auburn transfer or came from Auburn. He was there last. TJ Finley, that's who it is. He ended up transferring to
Oh,
Texas State, led them over Baylor. Utah squeaks a win by with a 7-point game. I'm ready for Cam Rising to come back. I'm not gonna lie. Cam Rising is a dog, and he is USC's father. So I'm ready for him to come back and kind of take charge of that Pac-12. You want to speak on any of that?
No, I mean, I didn't really. Go ahead, JR.
go ahead. No, go ahead, Buck. For you.
You are
No, I
good.
mean, like I said, I didn't really watch that much this weekend, but
Yeah, I mean
just
when
going down the list.
when you're on the East Coast, I mean it's kind of hard to keep up with Pac-12 ball. Not saying they're
True.
a weak conference because obviously right now I think they have the most teams
They
in
have
the
8,
top
I think,
25.
in the top
Yeah,
25.
hey, I mean it's but eventually, like I said, they're gonna start weeding each other out because that conference is gonna hurt each other. Oregon squeaks by Texas Tech. I was hoping for that upset. Bo Nix looks like he handled business. Still in there. I'm not a Bo Nix fan, by the way, but I like Oregon. They're not bad. And LSU looks like they handled Grambling. Kansas State took care of business. Oregon State also. Like I said, this Pac-12 ball. Kansas State, I know they're the Big 12, but didn't really keep up much with it. North Carolina, App State. I know that was one of Buck's games of the week. I think it was. And
Yeah,
it
like I
was.
said,
Go
I didn't
ahead.
really get to watch that much because I was at the Tennessee game. But I heard that the App should have won, and I've heard that from like Carolina fans as well. So App's
That was
got
a
some dogs
win.
apparently.
Yeah. Shout out K Rob. Shout out K Rob.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
That was
And
a big game though. The double overtime there.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it'd be nice for App State to pull that off, but obviously UNC squeaks by with another win. I know last week they handled the business, but Drake May, the hype, it's just not there for me. But anyways, Oklahoma handled SMU. Looks like that could have been a trap game.
I didn't know it was that close. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean for sure. Wisconsin, Washington State. I know that was a game that everybody was kind of hyping up. As far as the media, didn't really get to watch that. I kind of blacked out on the college football slate after. I was hardly ate the whole day. I was just so nervous, but I kind of blacked out that whole day. Ended up just going to sleep right after the game. Didn't really care much for it. I did look at the scores after the game, but this is kind of my second time really actually looking at the scores because it was NFL Sunday, obviously. So, Tulane Ole Miss, that was one of my games of the week. It was looking like Tulane could squeak it out, but then I think it was a big fourth down. They couldn't convert, and Jackson Dart ended up just driving down the field and scoring a touchdown. And then the following series for Tulane, it was like a strip sack, I think. So, I mean, the score is a little more lopsided than it should have been, but yeah, Duke handles Lafayette. Colorado, Nebraska, that's obviously getting a lot of hype because Colorado, Deion Sanders, America's team at the moment. I know we'll talk a little bit about the slate here in a second, just getting through these games, and then we'll talk about week 3. Texas A&M, Miami. That was a pretty good game. I think I talked about it a little last week, but the U pulled off the upset technically because they were unranked. A&M, not a big Jimbo fan, so there we go with that one. Clemson, number 25, took care of Charleston Southern after a slow start, and just going down the list. I mean, not really seeing anything else that I guess a lot of these teams could still be in the race. I think Iowa, I think they're 2-0 now. Looks like James Madison beat UVA. I was kind of trying to tell Buck last week that UVA is, I get their hyped and rallying behind it, but just nothing really for me. Oh, UCF Boise State, that was probably a game that I should have kept up with a little bit more. 18-16. That sounded like a good game. I'll probably go back and watch the highlights of that one. UCLA, that's another sleeper team that I've been hearing a lot about. And Auburn took care of Cal, unfortunately. Not a big fan of Auburn.
That was a lot closer than I think people were
Yeah,
expecting.
I think I put that game on to go to sleep because I was just like hurting. Do you want to talk about anything about the past week?
No, man. I mean, I think we
go ahead and roll into
covered.
next week.
Yeah.
Outside of Colorado though too, like that Colorado game was a big statement. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, even though it's just
yeah. I mean Nebraska.
but
but like I said, I mean we talked about it last week that you know I would like to see Nebraska kind of do something. Not saying I wanted them to be Colorado, but just because you know that all they talk about on the the shows is how Nebraska used to be that giant, like way before our time. So
yeah, they're still
They're
clinging on to all the days there.
yeah, go ahead, Buck.
Yeah, they're top 10 in all-time wins, I think. Nebraska is.
Yeah,
they're up there. So
And
they were a powerhouse in the 80s, 90s around that time. But
yeah, college football is good whenever like some of the classic teams are good. I mean, look at Florida State. You know, just what they're doing right now. It's awesome. I mean, and another thing too is the amount of teams that are kind of in it right now. I don't really think there's a team that's taken. Even Georgia, I get they're the reigning champs. I respect Georgia. I don't really hate them. Kind of hate their fans more than I hate them. But you know, even then, like they've looked vulnerable at times during the weeks, and I know there's still a lot of ball to play, but it's still a young season, so I'm not really leaning towards a favorite or anything right now. Obviously, I got Alabama, but we got a lot of ton, like a shit ton that we got to prove and get better on. You're saying, JR?
I think it's like surprising about Oregon State too, where DJ Ugalele has been able to do with them too, as far as like, you know, Oregon State's not usually a threat every year.
Oui,
but
Ugalele.
him being able to, him being able to turn his career around and
Well, I mean, it shows
kind of
you
get that positive statement back on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Dabo was the problem. You know,
I don't know.
not a
Because
Dabo hater, but you know, I don't like the fact that he doesn't dive into the transfer portal. I mean, like I said, you got to adapt or die. And it's
Yep.
Look at all the teams that have been having success. FSU, I mean, I think they had like top 5 portal last year. Coming into this year, LSU, they had a pretty good portal, and
Colorado,
obviously, yeah. I mean, that's kind of plain and simple. Who else was it? I mean, USC takes a lot of portal players, and I mean, for them to have Caleb Williams, I mean, that's going to attract a lot of those players. But,
for sure.
all right, just going quickly into week 3 because I know we're trying to watch this Thursday night football game. Looks like just gonna go down through some key matchups and some 25 rankings. If you see anything, Buck, feel free to jump in. Florida State, Boston College. I mean, I'd like to see this.
South Carolina plays Georgia. I mean, that's probably. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just going down the list. I mean, we'll definitely get to it for sure. I just kind of going down the list. What's on here, like as far as like time schedules. Florida State, Boston College, obviously a conference game. So I mean, anytime you play in the conference, it's going to be a big game, whether the team is good or whether it's not. One of those things where you can always, you got to show up, you got to play still. So FSU obviously is going to be my favorite, but we'll see. If you want to chime in. Penn State, Illinois, obviously a conference game. Penn State, the amount of work they've been doing, they're looking like a really good team. And with OSU's QB struggle, I know we don't talk about that enough. I know that McCord just got announced, I think, as the go-ahead starter. But I mean, at times the offense did look bland. So, I mean, for you to have arguably the best wide receiver core, in the conference, in the nation, you kind of have to just get the ball there. Just get it to your playmakers. That's all you got to do. And Penn State, I mean, they're looking like a good team that can put up a good fight against OSU. So LSU, Mississippi State, looks like it's going to be a noon kickoff here on the East Coast. Definitely going to keep an eye out on that one because Mississippi State is a senior-heavy team that can end LSU's dreams of the college football playoff. Obviously, no two-loss team has ever made the playoff. So that just makes it even harder if LSU was to drop this one against Mississippi State. And Will Rogers does not get his respect, his flowers, and I think this season they're going to try and do it for Mike Leach. So Mississippi State, hate the fact that, in the future Alabama has to go there because that place can get loud, trust me. Well, not personal experience, but just watching the games. But yeah, I mean,
Cowbells.
yeah, LSU, Mississippi State sounds like it's going to be a good game. Hate the fact that it's going to be a noon kickoff, but it'll get there. You got a Kansas State, Missouri. Looks like it's going to be a Big 12 SEC match. Obviously, we had a big one of those last week. Who knows? Missouri could pull off this upset. At the moment, they are, the lesser ranked team. Kansas State, I think a lot of people are, kind of nodding them and, kind of sleeping on them. So I would love to see, if Kansas State can keep rolling and maybe see Texas in the future, kind of really test Texas out. You got some more games on the schedule that, like I said, I'm not calling these teams. I'm not saying that these teams are, lesser, just kind of trying to find some key matchups and obviously talk about the top 25. That's what most people just keep an eye on. What you were saying, JR?
I think I saw that the app and ECU game is one of the most expensive ticket price games to go to this week.
Okay.
Obviously, they're not a big name team or nothing. App's been on the radar the past few years, but I feel like that's one of those games. It's just a big rivalry game, and I feel like they're always going to be nitty gritty. It's going to be a good football game, so that's always something to check out too.
It's that West versus East, that Carolina match. So obviously going to root for the Mountaineers, because just
roll
bias.
Nears, roll Nears.
Yeah, roll Nears. But yeah, I mean it'd be awesome, especially it's at Boone, so I'm sure that place is going to be really good. Yeah, for sure. And looks like Utah, number 12 against Weber State, going to be probably a nail biter. Central Michigan, Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame plays Ohio State next week, so I would love to see how they play this week. Just kind of build off of that and hopefully, roll into next week, and we're gonna hopefully get a really good matchup. Probably gonna be a 3:30 kickoff because of CBS, but we'll see. Then we got probably one of the best SEC matches, or one of the best matches of the weekend, in my opinion. Georgia, South Carolina. At the moment, Georgia hasn't really been tested too much. They have shown signs of weakness. Not saying South Carolina is the best team, but they're a better team than they have played all year. So they're really going to put them to the test, really see what Georgia's about. And this is one of the teams that you want Georgia to play and kind of, really establish their number one ranking and kind of set the tone for the season. South Carolina is definitely not a cakewalk, as you can ask Hendon Hooker last year. Unfortunately, it's not at Columbia this year, so it's between the hedges. It's gonna be a good match. I'll definitely keep an eye out on that one. I have a busy weekend, but
it's a rather legacy game coming in from South Carolina.
Yeah, hell yeah! I mean,
he won't score 6 touchdowns.
he had that game last year against Tennessee. I think they were number one at the moment. Were they number one at that time? Oh no, they were number one when they played Georgia. They were probably like 4 or 5.
We were 5. We were right outside of the top 4 because Michigan almost lost that day, and then we lost. So
yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be one of the key matchups. Like I said, like to see Georgia flex that number one, see if they're, really the number one team in the nation. South Carolina is obviously not the greatest team, but they're not a sleeper. You don't want to show up, think you're going to, out-talent these guys. Spencer Rattler, definitely. I think it was like 6-year senior, 5-year senior. But
Beamer ball.
Senior.
Yeah, Beamer ball. We'll figure it out. But Alabama USF is the next one on my schedule. Looks like Alabama's going down. You're at Southern Florida. And, just out of this game, I really just want to see, the dominance. Kind of just run the ball, but also the pass game. See what Tommy Rees has established over the week. Kind of get ready for next week's matchup against Ole Miss. They're coming into our house. Probably going to be like I think it was like a 3:30 kickoff here on the East Coast. So, just kind of flex our muscles, kind of try and build that confidence back and get ready for conference play next week. obviously, you can't sleep on any team. USF coming off of the loss last week, so just kind of hoping for a rebound. It's one of those games you want after one of those tough games, and just flex our muscles and hopefully get out of South Florida with a dub. Then we got Oregon State, San Diego State. This is probably going to be a really good matchup just because, San Diego State, they always, San Diego State and who's the other? San Jose State. Those two teams always kind of just, you never really know. Oregon State's probably going to be one of their bigger tests, as of the first 3 weeks of the season. So yeah, I'd just love to see DJU come in and kind of just keep asserting that dominance, showing that swagger, and just slinging that rock. But no, I mean, just I'd like to see Oregon State just keep chugging along and kind of keep establishing that dominance. Oklahoma, Tulsa. I think that's an Oklahoma battle, like the state of Oklahoma. I think it's Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, I'm sure that it's kind of like an interstate rivalry. Sure it's going to be a, smash mouth game. Oklahoma, obviously, the favorite in this matchup. But, I mean, I'm not doubting Tulsa. You never know. So, we'll just keep going. North Carolina, Minnesota. Minnesota's coming to North Carolina. Obviously, a Big Ten team. I would love to see, just see what Drake May is really about. Not saying the past 2 games haven't been easy, for him, but just keep getting tested. I see all this hype about Drake May, and I'm not saying I don't like it, but I just haven't really bought into it, if I'm being honest. So, just would like to see that matchup. Northwestern Duke. Obviously, Duke is still ranked. They're still in there. 2-0. Maybe going to 3-0 against Northwestern. I know they have coaching problems. If you don't know about it,
probably going 3-0.
Yeah, look it up. I mean, that hazing stuff was insane when that came out. So obviously not right. So I haven't really kept up with much of Northwestern other than what happened over the summer. Iowa, Western Michigan. I'm sure Iowa's going to move to 3-0. But like I said, you still got to show up and you got to play ball. So East Carolina, App State. I already kind of talked about that. JR addressed that. So like I said, it's one of those, interstate rivalries, West versus East. And I'm sure it's going to be one of those, gritty, how am I trying to say? It's just one of those grit matchups, see who wants it more. Battle of the State, Ohio State, Western Kentucky. You'd love to see them keep rolling, especially with the fact that Notre Dame, I think, is going to the shoe. I can't remember who's away.
No, I think it's in Notre Dame. I think
At
it was
Notre
in
Dame
shoe last year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right then. You'd love to see Ohio State kind of build that confidence, especially with traveling next week to Bend and or South Bend. Is it South Bend? I think so.
South Bend.
Yeah. Just I'd love to see them flex their muscles, and hopefully, that way we get a really good matchup next week. Kind of see what both teams are about. A&M looking to bounce back against UL Monroe after that loss last week. And you got Michigan State, Washington. I know they've been having a lot of headlines lately with their head coach. So
yeah, that's a coaching staff in shambles right now.
Yeah, I know they're having a little issues. You'd love to see. I think Penix. Yeah, Penix was at Indiana, so sure he's familiar with Michigan State. That Big Ten. Penix looks like he's still gonna hopefully keep showing out. Keep chugging for that Heisman, and kind of keep Washington into the race for the playoff. And UCLA, Washington State, both playing games that they should win. North Carolina Central and North Colorado. And then we got Tennessee, Florida, 7 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, that right there is, I think, going to be a massive, massive factor. If we could have got away with a 12 o'clock, a noon kick, I think I would have liked our chances a little bit better. But
yeah,
at night in the swamp.
Night in the swamp. That
scary.
does sound like a good matchup.
Scary.
I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out for sure.
I think the key matchup there is I think if the defensive line can get pressure on Graham Mertz, I don't know, just force Mertz to pass. And then same thing with Florida. Like our offensive line's kind of been not struggling, but I think Cooper Mays might be back this week for us. So if he's back, that's huge because he's like the anchor of the line.
For sure.
And if the corners can just, both ways, just force the quarterbacks to make plays, because I don't know, Joe Milton obviously hasn't looked great. So
Yeah.
we'll see what they're capable of.
I mean, this is gonna be the first real big test. What was it like? Austin P. Who was the week one? Oh, UVA. Yeah. It's first real big test. I mean, obviously you had that kickoff with UVA, but UVA is kind of distracted in my opinion at the moment.
Tennessee hasn't. They
s-
haven't won in Florida since 2003.
Jeez, oh my gosh, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
So
Yeah. If you're a bettor, obviously, bet responsibly and be of age when betting. So, but yeah, I mean,
Do
keep
not
that in
bet.
mind. Hey, listen, 99% of bettors quit before they hit big. So take that advice. Yeah, take that advice with what you want,
That's
but
how
also
on
be
Tennessee this weekend, boys.
take that with a grain of salt and do what you must with that information. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be exciting. I'm sure the swamp is going to get crazy for the night game. And especially since you got a division rival, conference rival in the night game, and they're ranked higher than you, you're playing
Napier's looking for his first big win too.
Yeah.
He hasn't beaten Tennessee yet, but historically, even when Florida's been bad these last couple of years, Dan Mullen was 4-0 against Tennessee.
Oh,
He didn't
wow.
lose to Tennessee when he was there the whole time.
There you
So,
go.
yeah.
I mean, it's definitely going to be one of those matches you want to keep an eye on. Definitely going to be probably in my top 5 this week. If you don't already, follow us on Instagram at the BOH Boys with an I. So just a little short plug-in. And but yeah, I mean, definitely keep an eye out on that matchup. Again, one of the top 5 matchups. So I'm excited about that one and see kind of what Tennessee's really about. Not saying that they're not the team I don't believe they are, but just kind of see what they would do with a Florida team that's motivated mentally, hopefully, and obviously backed by their stadium. Auburn, Samford, next one on the list. Auburn obviously should walk. Looks like we got some more matchups that nothing really too crazy that I'm seeing. Feel free to give me one sec. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Texas and Wyoming. Wyoming's already pulled the upset against Texas Tech. Could they do it again? Could they shock Texas in Texas? I don't know. We'll see. And then Oregon's playing at home against Hawaii. Should handle business against Hawaii.
Sorry about that. I'm back now. But yeah, I mean, Wyoming, Texas. It's gonna be a really big one. Michigan, Bowling Green might be an upset game. No, I'm kidding.
Colorado State, Colorado, 10 p.m. kick. Dang, that sucks out here on the East Coast, but I'm thinking Colorado takes care of business. Colorado State. You haven't heard about the beef that's going on between
10 p.m. kick. Holy cow!
East Coast. Colorado State.
Yeah, that is
head coach who saying some comments about Dion not being respectful, but I mean, and now they've made it personal. I don't think that was smart at all by Colorado State to make it personal for the Colorado players.
Throwing gas on the fire there, and it's just not even. They were already in trouble trying to step up against that stacked roster, but doing that, giving them a reason to take it personal, it's not smart.
Yeah, it's at home too. So I mean,
not to kind of butt into you guys, a couple things. Just realized the Texas game is on Longhorn Network, so I won't be watching that game because who the hell pays for Longhorn Network? Anyways, we're not a Texas slander show, but it's horns down at the moment. So, but I mean, I kind of hope they keep winning, just because it kind of shows that L was a little bit better than it actually was. I also want to touch on the fact that Clemson, I didn't realize, is unranked. They are unranked against FAU.
Wow.
So obviously they're gonna Dabo's probably gonna fire these kids up. Obviously, I don't think they have the firepower that they used to have, but I mean, would expect Clemson to play motivated and play, kind of angry. So it's kind of what Clemson used to do back in the day. Maybe get back to that smash mouth Clemson ball. Again, Colorado,
Wow.
Colorado State. I know Buck was already talking about that. Sorry, JR.
No, you're good. That big old beating they took in week 1 against LSU is kind of hard to bounce back from. I know they ran up the scoreboard last week, but I just don't think
Clemson?
they're the same team anymore. Yeah.
They Duke.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Clemson.
Yeah, they lost to Duke week 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they lost that game.
Oh, I thought you said
To
LSU.
Duke.
That's why I was confused.
I said LSU.
No, they lost week 1 that way.
Oh, anyways, they
And
lost.
they came back and they played Charleston Southern. So
Yeah. I mean, you kind of you struggle against a team you're expected to beat. It's kind of one of those things that just motivates you a little bit more. Kansas, Nevada, one of the games that it's gonna be on my radar. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out on that score just because, like I said, I think Kansas is 2-0 at the moment. Hopefully, they're gonna be 3-0. Just kind of strengthen those Big 12 matchups a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, Colorado State, definitely going to be exciting, especially with all the issues at the moment. Looks like right now that tickets lowest price is $150 to sit in the rafters. $150. That's insane.
Against Colorado State.
game.
Against Colorado State. That is absurd.
That's the Dion effect.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I mean, kind of finish up with that college football slate and kind of move into the NFL at the moment. I know that the Minnesota Vikings and Eagles are going on at the moment. I think the Eagles are up 3-0. So kind of just go over last week's games real quick, and then we'll move into this week's games. Obviously, Kansas City, Detroit. Kind of talked about that one a little bit.
Statement game.
Detroit feels a little disrespected. Kansas City did look a little weak, especially with Kelsey. But Detroit just kind of went out there and just showed them why they should be respected. A lot of rookie play this week as well. Carolina, Atlanta, Bryce Young. Not the hottest start. 2 picks, 1 TD. I know that for sure. 24-10 loss. But one of the things I want to talk about is like it's a 0-13-1 record or something like that for number 1 overall drafted quarterbacks record since 2003.
In their debut games or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the situation you're going to the worst team in the NFL. I know Carolina wasn't the worst team. They traded for it, but still for you to be able to be that low, you're obviously going to, be in some situation that isn't the greatest. Atlanta handled the business. I hate to say it, Bijan looked good and explosive, but Algier obviously took away a lot of those goal line touchdowns. But I just think they're just going forward. They're probably going to just move with that 2-headed monster of Bijan and Algier. So, I mean,
yeah, I think we're with Ritter at quarterback. I think it makes it really hard to have any sort of effective passing game long term. But as far as Bijan and Algier in the backfield, I don't think you can really complain as far as how good our rushing attack is going to be this year. Took a big step up on defense too as well. Jesse Bates, a few other big additions, Calais Campbell and everything. So I think we're in for a good, season. Not expecting much since it is Atlanta, but.
And I don't think JR introduced himself like properly at the beginning, but he is a Falcons fan and he is a Wolfpack fan, NC State.
Yep.
So
Yep.
That's why he has a little more knowledge when it comes to the Falcons than probably a majority of the general population. I'm kidding.
Probably they don't sell a lot more, but yeah, I mean, obviously,
I'm just referring to the fact that yeah. I'm just referring to the fact that like I've never really met a Falcons fan outside of you. That was like my biggest. No. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, man. Hey, I like the color. That's probably it.
Yeah, that's probably the only good thing about our franchise. So,
yeah. When it comes to picking your favorite team and picking your favorite color, it goes hand in hand. But yeah,
I mean, 7-year-old JR.
There you
go. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just like I said, Bryce Young hopefully builds off of this. Desmond Ridder, I mean, like you were saying, it's gonna be hard. But when you got targets like Pitts in London, I just think that it would make it that much easier. I mean,
Yeah,
probably
you would think.
potential to be generational talents. I wasn't a big fan of
Oh,
London coming out of USC. I didn't really care for him. I thought he was overhyped, but he is a good wide receiver.
I was very happy with that selection last year. I was honestly very confused about the Algier selection last year, but what a pick that was
yeah,
in the late rounds
rookie
there.
1,000-yard rusher. That's absurd. So when they drafted Bijan, I was highly confused, but obviously, Bijan did his thing. So, that two-headed monster, in my
Hey,
opinion, is going to be absurd.
it takes me back to the Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman days there, so I think it'll work out. But we do
Most of
have
you were
more
probably in
questions.
diapers when that happened, but no, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm just a little friendly banter, I'm obviously a Carolina fan now just because of Bryce Young, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, Carolina, Atlanta, obviously both teams looking to build, get off to a hot start. Carolina didn't look great. Atlanta kind of flexed the muscles, showed why that run game should be respected. We'll just go on into the next one. If you want to keep talking, feel free. We'll keep going.
I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cleveland just, it's one of those rival games. I'll give Cincinnati the benefit of the doubt. Just absolute dogging. Was it like T Higgins 0 fantasy points? What would Jamar Chase have for
Burrow
like
3.
Joe Burrow 3?
I lost my fantasy this week by 1 point. Joe Burrow had 3 points.
I lost my fantasy this week because my team was ass, but it's a whole nother situation.
Joe Burrow. J.K. Dobbins out for the year. Joe Burrow shit a brick. How it goes, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was like pouring the rain in Cleveland too. I think that was like one of
It
the
started off,
factors as well.
but see, Cleveland eventually got their offensive going. Bengals just did not. They looked terrible that whole entire game.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really. I saw. I I keep it on Red Zone early in the day for that, so I didn't see Cincinnati pop up a lot on Red Zone. But Indianapolis and Jacksonville. I thought Indianapolis was going to hang around and maybe upset Jacksonville, but ended up not happening. I think Anthony Richardson, he had a pretty good debut though. He had like a rushing touchdown and passing. I think he had one because Pittman had a touchdown.
He was good that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't
Bring
Ridley
back.
go nuts for Jacksonville too?
Oh yeah, Ridley's
Ridley
on
had
my
a-
fantasy team.
Yeah.
Not to go off topic, but I kind of have the game on, like, also watching it as well a little bit, like taking glances here and there. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts threw a pick. I think it was the very first play for the Vikings. The running back fumbles it. It's like turnover. But anyways, back to last week's slate real quick, and we'll get through this. Yeah, Jacksonville. Calvin Ridley just kind of showed what he can do. What he's been able to do. Sorry for the Falcons fans because that boy is a freak. But I don't know if he could have done much with Desmond Ridder. Trevor Lawrence is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to him since Alabama. So, yeah. That game was obviously it was really competitive up until like the very end. I think it was. At one point, Indy had the lead. I think it was as well. So
Yeah, they were back and forth the whole game, and then it kind of just slipped away at the end.
Yeah, Richardson. If just imagine if JT was there, if JT got paid, it. I think that game could have been even closer, if not turned the other way. Just with Anthony Richardson's abilities and just kind of taking over that game at one point and kind of giving that lead to Indy. I think they have definitely a really good season ahead. I don't think they're gonna push the playoffs just because that conference is gonna probably hurt each other. Well, sorry, the division is gonna hurt each other. But yeah, it's definitely a bright future for the Colts, for sure. Tampa Bay, Minnesota. I know Kirk Cousins shit the bed. can't recall how many turnovers he had, but every time I turned around the TV, or they'd pan a clip from red zone, Minnesota turned the ball over or something. Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, he's claiming that he figured out the defense like halfway through the game or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of wild, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, it would have been a bad thing to say if you say that and you take a loss. I think it's good for him to say that, and they got the W. So
Yeah, by 3 points too.
yeah,
And if he figured out the defense and only won by 3 points, I mean, I don't.
yeah. I mean, it's
Not a big
you
deal.
figured it out, but take over. Yeah, Baker's. I like Baker. I don't hate the guy. So, I'd hope for him to do good. Obviously, I don't care for Tampa Bay. The Vikings. Thankfully, I didn't play Jefferson this week. I think he still put up like 20 points or something like that. Man's a freak, even though Kirk Cousins kind of sold his bag. Looks like New Orleans, Tennessee. Don't really care for either team. Nah, I like Derrick Henry. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those like kind of gritty battles. Just kind of who wanted it more, and at the end of the day, New Orleans took that dub. Derek Carr, still kind of weird seeing him in that Saints uniform, in my opinion. I went back and watched some of the highlights. Just can't get used to that. But then we got San Francisco, Pittsburgh. This was one of my games of the week. I was, thinking Kenny Pickett was going to arrive. Clearly, I was wrong. So yeah, my takes this week are absolutely horrendous. Gonna have to study up a little bit.
San Francisco's defense is just like that. Though.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous.
It just kind of also shows you, yeah, shows you that San Francisco has a really good defense.
Arizona Washington was way too close for Washington. For Arizona to be having,
but I think both of those
their starting quarterback.
Both of those teams are still
another
developing.
turnover battle in that one too, though.
Yeah.
They were it's like you said about the other game. There, every time it was flipping from red zone, it was just turnover after turnover after turnover. So
yeah. So I mean, Sam Howell obviously got his dub, so good for them. Arizona, I mean,
shout out Indian Trail.
They don't have Kyler, I think.
Not Indian Trail.
Indian Trail.
No, he went to
Sun Valley. Yeah, Sun Valley.
Valley.
No, but Sun Valley is an Indian Trail, though, I think.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I don't know. It's all those small towns.
Yeah.
Houston, Baltimore. Obviously, CJ Stroud playing a good Baltimore defense in Baltimore. Didn't expect much out of him, but I mean, he still put up some good yards. I think he had the most completions by a rookie or something like that. Yeah, I think he probably had the most attempts as well. He threw like 40-something passes. I think he had like 26 completions. But yeah, and Houston, Baltimore. I think
Lamar was kind of surprising in that game. He had a few fumbles.
I was trying to think. I was I had to reiterate it. Zay Flowers? That's what I wanted to talk about. Man,
oh yeah,
that boy was. He had
great.
I can't remember how many catches, but I mean, he didn't have a lot of yards, but still every time he had the ball in his hands, he kind of just went crazy. On a lesser thing, sad. J.K. Dobbins obviously out for the year. I know Buck already talked about that a little bit. Just kind of feel bad for the guy. I think it was brutal. 3 years in a row injury.
Something
injuries.
Like that, yeah.
It just I can't catch a break. Baltimore obviously gets the W. Kind of expect that from them, though. But just sad to hear about J.K. Dobbins and obviously Lamar being back after a while. Expect him to play a little bit better. I had Mark Andrews. So once that team gets a little bit healthier, I think they'll be definitely a really good team. Especially going to have to be because the AFC North is going to be a strong division in the conference. Green Bay, Chicago. I have Justin Fields. Really disappointed me. Green Bay, still Chicago's father. So
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think Green Bay looked really well. They Aaron Jones had a good game, and then Jordan Love actually surprised me. I wasn't expecting a 245-yard game with 3 touchdowns. So I think
yeah, yeah. I
it
mean,
was a
for
good start.
sure. I think I was talking about how Jordan Love didn't get much respect. Talking to a couple of my Green Bay Packer fan friends, and they kind of didn't really show much pride or backing up
I
Love,
mean, I
but
feel like it's kind of like the Favre Rodgers situation all over again. He's got big shoes to fill coming in
yeah,
after A Rod.
yeah. I
I feel
mean,
like he can definitely do it if they you know build the team around him the right way and everything.
yeah, and I think that's what they really want to do is just kind of kind of hit that reset button. Not saying they couldn't have reset with Rodgers, but just he's getting older. Obviously, gets hurt Monday Night Football, but
Sad.
it's just, I mean, they kind of want to
Very sad.
reset, especially when they get Watson back. I expect them to
Yeah.
be a pretty explosive defense. Still got Dylan and Jones, so obviously still have the ability to be really explosive. And yeah, just Chicago. I mean, they need to step it up. They were expected to be one of the better teams in that division, but I think I've been seeing where Chase Claypool has been getting a lot of hate because there's so much film from that game of him just whiffing blocks and not
Yeah,
trying. And I
just like
mean,
loafing.
yeah, it's just it's sad. I mean, if you don't want to be on the team, like leave or get him out of there. Like in my opinion, obviously, just toxicity and to the team, it's just not going to help it. And if Claypool doesn't want to be there, I mean, why the hell would you keep him? But yeah, I mean, I'm expecting Chicago to kind of bounce back from this, and I think Green Bay is still gonna may have a chance for that North. You just don't know. Obviously, the Lions are
Just
my
don't know.
favorite, but the Vikings looked weak that weekend. The Bears looked weak. It's just Green Bay looked good. Then we got Las Vegas, Denver. Obviously, would have loved for Russ to kind of get that dub, but Playboy Jimmy just keeps getting away with it. So nothing much to say about that game. It was kind of a back and forth turnover game as well. Um,
Josh Jacobs was kind of
Jacoby,
quiet. He had a bunch of rushing attempts and he was kind of quiet. But yeah, go ahead. But
I was just gonna say, is how long is Jacoby Myers out for?
oh, he did get
Do we
hurt.
know? I thought he did. I swear he did. Maybe he
Yeah, I
didn't.
think he
Hopefully he
did.
didn't, but I think he might have.
I think he did late in the game. I think you're right.
Yeah,
He did have a good game though. He had it was like 80 yards and like 2 touchdowns, something like that.
yeah.
Oh
He
yeah,
went crazy for them.
Jacoby's in concussion protocol, so he's probably out
Oh,
for a few days or at least a week for sure. I think Adams is also hurt. So going into next week, I mean they got Jacoby who's
Jeez.
definitely not going to play. Adams is questionable, and someone else is kind of on the injury report as well for them. So I think they end up playing. Well, we'll get to it in a minute, but kind of just Las Vegas is definitely hurt, depleted, and it's going into next week and just kind of see what happens. New England, obviously thought Philly was going to just take it and run away, just kind of dog them. New England finds a way to come back into the game and make it a game. Mac Jones, in my opinion, one of the most hated quarterbacks and definitely deserves some respect. But it's just because maybe some Bama bias in there a little bit. But I mean, he took over the game a little bit, managed it well, and brought his team back. Obviously, had a lot of help with Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne. I think that's his name. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Jones had a pretty monster game that day. It
yeah,
didn't started really slow, but
yeah.
he finished off pretty well.
All right, and then obviously would love to see New England kind of bounce back from this, and I think they will. I think they got Miami next week, and Philly obviously on the clock right now against Minnesota. So kind of see what that's like in a bit. And yeah, going into my game, one of my games of the week, it's Miami Los Angeles, the battle of the 2020 picks. I had this game highlighted because Tua deserves his respect, deserves his respect from the Chargers. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback in my opinion, but other than throwing the deep ball and throwing it up to his big body wide receivers, I really don't see anything else special with Justin Herbert. Tua, I mean, I get you can say he has the speed, but I mean, 466 yards. I mean, I think that's, you know, still resembles something. He's still, you know, deserves his respect. You know, that it was a monster game, AFC Player of the Week. So I think Miami's just going to keep building on this. And I think I saw a stat where he's on pace for like 7,000 yards this year if he keeps it up. Obviously not going to happen because, well, I mean, I don't know. He could go out and throw 400 every week. That's just the way our.
Tagovailoa goes out and throws for 466 yards a week. I am never watching football again. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, probably some Disney stuff right there. But yeah, and Tua got his flowers. He deserved that, and finally got his win over the Chargers. So
I think
happy for that.
obviously, Tyreek Hill was he looked great in that game too. He's been rumors about him retiring and everything, but I think he's still chugging along just fine at this point in his career.
I think he wants one more. So
yeah.
I mean, but Miami's my Super Bowl contender, but that's just obviously some bias. I mean, why not us? Why not us? So.
I mean, you look great. You look good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited, man. I mean, just finally get that respect that we deserve. I get it's Los Angeles, but obviously
Jalen Ramsey back.
Yeah. Once we get Ramsey back, I mean, once that defense gets healthy, pay Wilkins, make him happy. Just.
And Jalen Ramsey comes back as Jalen Ramsey, it'd be a problem. But I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see him in this form this late in his career. I think he could still make an impact. But
yeah,
I think it also could be kind of a situation like Stephon Gilmore where he is making an impact, but not as much as he was earlier on in his career. But,
I mean, it's still one of those guys you got to respect. You got to
sure.
remember, like, hey, this guy, arguably cornerback one in his prime.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like he still has the ability to read you, take advantage of you, and just overall make you pay for your mistakes.
100%.
So, I mean, that's one of my sleeper teams, and Los Angeles, obviously a good team. I mean, they put up 34 points. Eckler, not a fan of Eckler, but he ran all over us. And our rushing defense is not great, so but still.
Yeah. I think that was probably one of the best games from week one for sure.
Definitely. I mean, that's probably game of the week for me, other than that Lions Kansas City game. But
I think that was a good opener for the season as well too.
Yeah. Los Angeles, Seattle. No one really picked Los Angeles or the Rams. Sorry, there's two Los Angeles. No one really gave the Rams a chance. So,
they were a very surprising team as well.
Yeah. I mean, I knew Stafford was healthy. I was hoping Kupp was healthy. I have Kupp on my fantasy team, so I'm just missing Kupp. I mean, I can't wait for him to get back. Hopefully, he can be healthy and kind of.
Do you know how much longer they're expecting him out for?
Well, I know he's on the PUP list or IR. Or these like 4 weeks, so it's like 4 weeks.
Oh dang.
Yeah, so he's got 4 games, and then after that, it's just like another, maybe like a questionable thing, like game to game. But I'm hoping he comes back because obviously took him in the first round of my fantasy. But also, Los Angeles looked like a really good team against Seattle, who isn't a bad team. They're one of the teams that are up and coming, and for them to be disrespected in that division and kind of come out and manhandle the Seahawks in Seattle, which is tough to play in. Like that shows a lot about the Rams.
They're gonna have a tough receiver core too. They have veteran Lockett and DK, and then the rookie.
Smith and Jigba. So. Yeah, I mean, even the defense. Like the defense is real. Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen, Quandre Diggs. I think Jamal Adams is there too, right? Is he still there?
I don't know. Actually, I have no clue. It's a good question.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, I mean, it's still a good. I think Bobby Wagner's back, so. I mean, still a really good defense. And going into
Yeah,
Sunday
Jamal
night's game,
Adams.
yeah. See, I mean they're solid. So for Stafford to do that with, probably his worst wide receiver core he's ever thrown to, it just kind of shows you. Sunday night football, Dallas, New York. Buck, I'll let you talk about this one. New York looked like
Yeah,
the
it's
mighty
like,
Giants to me, but good.
well, I mean, like all offseason is all I've heard is that Daniel Jones is the second best quarterback in the East, and that he deserves his respect. And then I was expecting us to beat the Giants because Dallas hasn't lost to the Giants in like the last 11 games. I wasn't expecting a 40 burger uh, against nothing for New York. Um, Dallas' defense looked like legit. I granted New York's line was not great, like terrible, honestly, and they had like 5 turnovers total. I think Dallas forced like five turnovers, a pick six, uh, 2 interceptions, a like a kick return or not a blocked kick return for a touchdown. I don't know. Everything was clicking in Dallas's way. Just a
Hmm.
bad game for New York overall.
I just
Like
realized,
terrible.
yeah, not to like kind of
And
get
they
off
have
subject. It's
go
still
ahead.
in the game. Just wanted to jump in real quick. Just realized Dak had 143 passing yards.
Yeah,
Like
and they won 40 to
that's
nothing. He didn't have to do anything.
yeah, that's. I mean, it sucks because you didn't really get to see your offense, but at the same time, kind of, your defense can win games. So
It was yeah. It was also monsooning there as well.
yeah,
Like I know he had at least 3 drop passes that I can remember that hit receivers in the hands. Mainly the tight ends. There were like 3 tight end drops for no reason. His like completion percentage is like just above 50%, maybe, or just below 50%. I'm not sure Dax for the game, but
It's just
yeah, I
over.
don't even know if I don't even remember if he had a
oh,
passing touchdown. Dak, I don't
no,
remember if he had a passing touchdown or not.
I don't know if he
He
did.
did not.
I have no
No.
clue.
Yeah,
Mm.
CD led the team in 77 receiving yards. So I think the biggest thing was that big CD play was like a
Yeah,
40, 50 yard play.
that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody expected him to just blow him out of the water like that. But I mean, I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt, because I mean, we all know
Yeah, I mean,
Dallas is regular season champs. So
well, another thing too is
yeah,
like I was saying though. I mean, it just kind of shows you. I mean, your defense can obviously play, but
yeah,
you didn't see much of your offense. So like, kind of
yeah.
still, raises some eyebrows. Kind of still, will give you some questions. Obviously, they're back. We them boys, they're back. So, but
Yeah, this is the year for sure.
Was, getting to see our old boy Rico get some touches too.
yeah,
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
he's the true RB2 in Dallas, which I think is pretty cool. He was getting
Yeah,
some significant playing time on Sunday.
definitely.
that's good. But yeah, after that, Buffalo, New York, Jets, obviously not the Giants. But obviously y'all know that. Overall, just kind of like not. It wasn't a snooze fest. I mean, it was a great game, but it was just kind of sad, since Aaron Rodgers went out. But
Yeah,
I love to see Josh Allen throw 3 picks. I love to
yeah,
see
same
Josh
here.
Allen turn the ball over.
This is the
Uh,
Josh Allen hate podcast, by the way.
Josh Allen, we don't hate you. We'd love to have you on the
I'm just
podcast.
kidding. Please come on. I'm just kidding. You
But
seem so cool.
but yeah, no, I mean it's just I mean it the amount of Buffalo hype and kind of just never giving anybody else in the East any respect. I mean, for you to go out and do that against the Jets, an Aaron Rodgers-less Jets. I mean, obviously the Jets have their number. They got him last year as well. But just I mean, I love to see it. I love to see the Jets kind of flex that defense and just kind of make Josh Allen look like a regular old quarterback. Not
Yeah,
the
this
Superman
game
that
went into
he's.
overtime,
Mhm.
and it was won. I mean, it was won in a super crazy fashion with like the punt return touchdown, the rookie. But Josh Allen is 0-5 all time in overtime games,
Yeah, for sure.
which is they had changed the rule for him and still 0-5.
Yeah, I mean, it's. My thing is this season is Tua's actually going to play the Jets. I'm hoping he stays healthy enough because he didn't play the Jets last year. I think we went 1-1 against the Jets, even the series. But
Maybe the Zach Wilson Jets.
I mean, we had the Zach Wilson Jets last year, but every time we had quarterback play, it was Skyler. We had Teddy Bridgewater, but he ended up getting a concussion during the game. So we had Skyler come in, and it was like his second like actual snap play. So it was just horrible. And then Skyler almost gets him late in the season. No. I think we did get him late in the season. But yeah, I mean, just love to see Tua, what he can do against this defense. I mean, obviously, talented at the corners and the safety spot, and just, kind of really see what this team's about. I'd love to see. This is one of the games I'm going to circle because I want to see what Tua can do against this defense. But yeah, that's kind of the week review over last week, and just go ahead and get into week 2 real quick and finish this out. But obviously, right now we got Minnesota, Philadelphia. I'd love to see Jalen Hurts kind of reestablish that dominance. I know you don't really care, but
No, they're a good team, and they're definitely on the top of the NFC, I think, right now.
yeah,
So.
I mean, they're losing at the moment. They're down 7-3. There's still a couple minutes to go in the first half. Definitely looks like the Vikings adjusted from last year after being embarrassed. I think it was Monday night or Sunday night, something like that.
It was like week 2 or week 3. It was early in the year last year as well.
Yeah, they got disrespected. But I mean, a lot of the teams the Eagles played got disrespected last year. So Vikings obviously playing motivated. So can't wait to finish this game out a little later. But yeah, I mean, just kind of see what both of these teams are about, and I'd love to see Hurts kind of bounce back after a hot start, but then kind of getting cold in New England. Granted, New England, it was horrible weather. It was cold. It was, just ugly. So, anyways, you still got to show up and play. Green Bay, Atlanta, one of the earlier kickoffs as well. JR, if you want to talk about that one, feel free.
I mean, it kind of just depends on what Green Bay team we get. If they show up like they did against Chicago last week, I think it could be a rough day for us. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm never going to expect anything from Atlanta, so we'll see what happens. But
cool red helmets, I think, this week.
Yeah, if we pull out the throwback unis, it would be that would make the game worth it, I think.
Love to see Pitts and London get involved a little more in that pass game, kind of really establish what that's about. I mean, we know that you can run the ball, but what if the run isn't there?
Oh yeah, 100%. Or we get down later in the game or something. We're running.
You gotta air it out. You gotta see what you can do.
Yeah, I would love for Ritter to take that step, but I think this is kind of just his year where we make the decision at the end of the year. Okay, this is our guy, or we might need to move on. So
that's kind of how Miami is too. There's a lot of that. So I'm rooting for Ritter, obviously, but at the end of the day, you can only help yourself. So Green Bay, obviously, would love to see him jump out to a hot start this week again. But I think it's going to be a good matchup. I mean, I think the Atlanta secondary is kind of one of the underrated secondaries in the league. Bates, big addition.
Step up from last year, so yeah. I'm excited to see. But I think it'll be a good test over a rookie quarterback in Bryce Young.
Yeah, so. I think Atlanta's secondary is a lot better than Chicago's secondary. So I mean, just kind of see what that's like. Las Vegas, Buffalo. I think Buffalo should kind of bounce back and kind of really take control of this game. I need a James Cook career game for my fantasy team. Yeah, legacy game. So
Dawson Knox legacy game would be sick.
Kincaid legacy game would be. No, I'm kidding. I don't have Kincaid. But yeah, I mean,
touchdown game coming from from Dawson Knox here.
Also, like kind of Josh Allen just to get back into his, what he's expected to be. Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm not a Josh Allen hater, but I do like seeing him, turn the ball over and kind of expose himself for what he does. One of the what is it, like highest turnover ratio or interception count since he's joined the league. It like
Yeah,
leads
no
the
one talks about
NFL.
that though.
But he's the GOAT, so yeah. Las
He can throw it
Vegas.
70 yards in the air though.
Yeah. Las Vegas. I mean, like I said, what was that? What was his name again? That what Jacoby, obviously in
Yeah,
concussion.
Jacoby Myers. Yeah.
Adams, he's hurt with a foot, I think, right now. So they're really weak when it comes to wide receivers at the moment. So they really need Adams to play and kind of see who's going to step up. I mean, Renfro, is he going to be there? Even Michael Mayer, the tight end, that might be like one of those sleeper picks that, if you have him on your fantasy lineup. We're not fantasy, we're not promoting like you do this, but maybe give Michael Mayer a shot, a little flex position or something. Just kind of see he might put up some numbers this week, especially if they're riddled with injuries at the wide receiver core. Baltimore Cincinnati, that's going to be a good division rival game. Cincinnati obviously cannot afford to drop this game and go 0-2 on the season already. So they're going to look forward to kind of evening the score and, getting back in the 500 column. But I don't think Baltimore is going to, sit down and let them be walked over. So
That's always a really good game too.
yeah.
So I think that'd definitely be one to watch.
Oh yeah, the AFC North hates each other. They all hate each other. So it's
All the
always
Northern States, it doesn't even matter.
yeah. No, they just hate each other. So definitely gonna be one of those games that I'm sure Red Zone is gonna be locked into on the weekend.
Yeah.
So probably be seeing a lot of that. Seattle, Detroit. Detroit getting a Seattle team. I think last year that was like one of the monster games. If you guys remember, it was like who was that? Rashad Penny. He had like a big game last year with the Seahawks against Detroit. I think it was one of those shootout games. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Not
But
sure. I don't remember that off the top of my head.
I think it was Seattle. I can't remember. But I mean, I'm sure Seattle's gonna not come in and look to go 0-2. So it's gonna be definitely a dogfight. Thankfully, Detroit's at home. So obviously, Dan Campbell, big fan. I like the Lions. They're my NFC team. Only reason I'm going for the Panthers is because of Bryce Young. But I mean, just that Carolina boy stuff. So, but yeah, I got Detroit and Miami. Those are my teams right there. So obviously rooting for Detroit. Seattle obviously not going to come in and lose. So Los Angeles, Tennessee. Don't really care for either team, but I'm sure it's going to be a good match with Tennessee's defense and Los Angeles's offense because Miami's defense isn't Tennessee's defense. So I'm sure it's going to be one of those things where it might be like a slugfest, just round here, round there, just go the distance and maybe be one of those close games at the end of the
Another
game.
one.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
No, I'm just saying it might be a good game at the end of the game.
I think another thing to watch there is Eckler's health too. He's questionable with an ankle injury, so that could play a big effect on that game too.
Yeah, I mean, and Tennessee's D line is always stout with Vrabel as the head coach. So I mean, they show up, and I'm sure the last thing they're going to let do is let Eckler rush 100 yards or drop 2 touchdowns on him. So definitely going to be testing the corners a lot. So yeah, it should be a good game. Don't really have either of them on my radar, like I said, but it's still going to be a good game. I mean, to be in the NFL, you have to be good. Chicago, Tampa Bay. I would love to see Justin Fields kind of take this game over and really prove why he was one of the better quarterbacks in the North when it comes to the NFC. So I'm expecting to bounce back from them. Tampa Bay, not hating, but I mean, for them to go into Minnesota and kind of leave with a W, that says a lot about that team. So there's that one. I'm sure that one's going to be maybe like a lower scoring game as well. Tampa Bay's always got a pretty good defense. Kansas City, Jacksonville. That that might be a really good game. Definitely a game to watch.
Yeah.
A lot of touchdowns probably scored in that game. So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
gonna be
think.
a game of the week candidate there.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't think Kansas City. I don't think they start 0-2. But at
yeah.
the same time, it's in Jacksonville. But I have no idea how much longer Kelsey's supposed to be out for. Do we know?
I think he's also on IR, so he might
Oh
be a
wow, so
he
he's
might
out
be
for
a
a while.
4 weeker. I
Dang.
mean, hyperextension to the knee. I mean, he's lucky that nothing else happened to the knee. You know,
That's true.
so I'm sure they're gonna kind of not try to rush that, especially because when it comes down to it, Kansas City's always going to be in the race when it comes to the playoffs. Obviously, you would love to be the number one seed, but at the end of the
I
day,
mean,
you just want to make it healthy.
yeah.
If you can get to the playoffs healthy, that's what you want. But yeah, like you were saying, Buck, I don't think they start 0-2, but I don't think Jacksonville's gonna,
They're not just gonna
yeah,
slouch though. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
expect Calvin Ridley to have a monster game. I expect, who's on the Kansas City? Was that Tony? Probably gonna have a
Chris
bounce
Jones is
back.
back though.
Oh yeah, Chris Jones is back, but I mean he's not a corner, so
True, but I mean they have ETN.
yeah,
Might be able to stop the run game a little bit.
yeah. I mean if I'm sure if the run game isn't there, then they're just gonna shut down the pass, so they have to establish some sort of run. And with Jones there, I mean I'm sure that's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be one of those like take the air out the ball, just kind of fucking slinging it. Like I said, a lot of points behind that. JR said it might be player or week game of the week candidate. So yeah, definitely gonna probably see a lot of that on Red Zone. Back and forth.
They have the over under at 51 for that game, so I think it is
Oh
going to be a
my
big shootout
god.
game. So
Yeah, I'm expecting at least 30 from probably both teams. So for sure, definitely gonna be.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, it's gonna benefit me. But yeah, oh yeah, like I was saying, Tony. A lot of hate last week. A
yeah,
lot of
I
hate.
think he kind of deserves a good amount of that hate.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
yes. I mean, yes, but I mean, I think he turned his social media off and just kind of put his head down, and he's gonna get to work this week. So,
No, he didn't.
no, you don't think
He was
so?
talking that. No, he put on his story when the
Oh,
Giants
he
were
was
getting
talking
killed.
back.
He's like, I tried to
Oh
tell
shit,
you.
that's
I
right.
tried to
That's right.
tell you.
Shit, that's right.
Like he didn't just have like 3. Well, how many drops did he have?
Hey, I mean, at least this team scored. That is probably what he was saying.
He had nothing to do with it,
He
but
he
yeah,
didn't score, but his team scored.
correct.
There you go.
Correct. He tried to
Yeah,
tell us.
the Giants didn't score, so.
Tried to tell us.
Indy, Houston. That's gonna be a good one. Two rookie QBs. So
Yeah.
kind of see what both of them are about. More of a kind of even odds, like even competition. Not saying that the Ravens, aren't a good team. It's just that, when you're playing a veteran defense, kind of really see what rookie on rookie can do with CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson takes this one, if I'm being honest, just because he showed a lot more productivity the first week. CJ Stroud, I mean, but Houston's defense gave the Ravens a problem. So
I think it's hard to predict anything Houston related. I feel like they can just go out.
yeah, I mean,
One
but
game they're a solid team, and then one day they're just shambles. So I think it's hard to.
yeah, I mean, I think they had a really good defensive. I mean, yeah, the Ravens still managed to put up a lot of points, but I mean, they were giving Lamar Jackson problems. It's D'Amico Ryan's the head coach. I'm sure it's going to be, defense mentality. So, I mean, expect him to give Anthony Richardson a tough night, but at the end of the day, like I said, I think Anthony Richardson kind of, flexes it a little bit more and wants it more, so takes it over Stroud. But one of those, QB competitions is going to be there for years. Stroud and Anthony Richardson, that division rivalry. So excited for the first part, see who takes it. But San Francisco, Los Angeles, 49ers, obviously just a monster weekend or a monster week last week. Just absolutely making Kenny Pickett look like he has small hands. just making him I mean, the Steelers, I kind of hyped them up a little bit too much, I guess, in my head. But yeah, I mean, San Francisco is that team. That defense is a monster. Brock Purdy manages it well. I mean, Debo, McCaffrey, Ayuk looked good, and I mean, you still got Kittle.
Ayuk looked tough. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of the better teams in the nation. Don't expect them to lose many games, but one they could drop is obviously a conference rival or a division rival, the Rams.
Yeah.
So
I think that'll be a good game too, especially with how the Red Hot Rams played last week. That it was interesting to see that receiving core without Cup, honestly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, who's he gonna throw to? Nakua, who is it?
yeah,
Something Nakua.
Puka,
Puka
I don't know.
Nakua, yeah.
Tutu Atwell and Van Jefferson.
Yeah. I mean, even Akers and was that Kyron Williams, Notre Dame? Monster. But I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things. I know McVay hasn't had luck with Shanahan, but you never know. I mean, it's just one of those division games. It's going to be smash mouth. You hate each other. So if anybody has the 49ers numbers, it's definitely a division rival. So I expect the Niners to win it, but I think the Rams aren't going to, give up. Then we got the shit bowl. No, I'm kidding. You got the Giants and the Cardinals.
This has got to be. New York has to bounce back. Like, they have to win.
They have to score. They have to score. Man, who do you think gets their first touchdown of the season? I mean, obviously, I think Saquon.
Josh Dobbs.
No. I meant like the Giants' first touchdown.
Probably Saquon, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. If it's not Saquon, it's probably
Kenny Galladay.
He's not even on the team.
Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, Jalen Hyatt. No. Who's that?
Sterling Shepard.
What's that? No. The other wide receiver. Oh my gosh.
The other.
It's not Darren Waller because he's not going to be playing probably.
Oh yeah, he's not playing.
Well, Chris Collinsworth called Darren Waller the LeBron James of something. He compared him to LeBron.
I don't think anything that Chris Collins has ever said is anything relevant. So.
Oh my god, I'm trying to find this. Isaiah Hodgins.
Waller can stay healthy. That would be huge.
It's probably gonna be Isaiah Hodgins.
Who knows?
Bryce Ford
that's
Wheaton.
A must win.
Dude, they have Cole Beasley.
New York does?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Where was he at? Should have released him. What did they have to lose last week?
On the practice squad.
Probably.
Certified white guy.
Just a lot of grit. It's the biggest, just
very high motor guy. Great for the lock.
Kind of guy.
First one in, last one out. Just mentality. But yeah, and so yeah, I mean it might be a snooze fest. It might be one of those games that just you never know. I mean, Dobbs, not hating on the guy, but it's not Kyler Murray.
They weren't going down without a fight last week against Washington, and New York I think is better than Washington, but how much better? So and it's at home. It's in Arizona. So
here's one of the games that I'm excited to watch, and Tony Romo's probably gonna call it. Jets, Cowboys. Yeah. Gonna be a good one.
Elite defense versus offense that I would like to think is good, but we haven't seen them yet. So
yeah, for sure. I got Cooks on my team, so I'm expecting a big game out of him. I don't think CeeDee's gonna have much.
Looks like he sprained his MCL or something, dude. I don't know if he's playing.
Oh shit! Let me drop his ass. Didn't even know that. That's my problem. I haven't looked into my flexes much. Been worrying about wide receiver ones because Cup. But we'll figure that out. We got people on the roster to fill in if we need to. I would love to start.
Yeah, hopefully that's a good game.
I would love to start Terry McLaurin, who's in the next game, but we'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, I mean, like you were saying, questionable. Not saying questionable offense. It's just you haven't seen much out of this offense yet. You haven't had to.
Not this year, yeah.
So
no, we didn't have to last year.
The last thing you would want to do is kind of see what they're about against an elite defense. So
I really want to see the Sauce CD matchup and the Garrett Wilson Diggs or Garrett Wilson Gilmore matchup.
do they switch
We'll see
sides?
what that happens. What?
Um. Sorry, I was looking at
Diggs
this.
and Gilmore?
Yeah, do they switch sides?
Honestly, I don't think so. Actually,
Because I know they were talking about
I'm
how
not sure.
DJ Reader and Sauce, like, they're kind of like you're on one side and he's on the other side, and they never switch, regardless of like who is on what
Like
side.
who's on the team or on the
Mm.
side? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it might be about the same for Dallas as well, but I couldn't don't hold me to that. I don't know.
So not to get like off topic or
Yeah.
anything, real quick, but I think Justin Jefferson just fumbled a touchdown into a touchback. So
Wow.
I don't know if you have the game up, but yeah, I mean, just they're talking about it right now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I was saying, Dallas don't really know much about the offense. Jets, you know, a lot about the defense. So definitely gonna be one of those matchups that I'm expecting to watch, and gonna see a lot on Red Zone, obviously. But yeah, I'm looking for Terry McLaurin to kind of have a bounce back game against Denver, but I'm kind of scared because Sertan just, I don't know if he switches onto players or not. I need to do a little more research on that. But Justin Simmons, Sertan usually have a really good defense. The Broncos do, so a little scared about that one. But I don't know. I mean, it is at Mile High though, and if anything, the Broncos are ready to get into the win column with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. So might be a really good
Dude,
match right there.
That's
I
right.
still think Russell can be good. I still think Russell can be good. I haven't lost faith in him. Granted, I
Yeah.
haven't had to watch him every week, so I don't
So
know.
yeah. I mean, I'm excited, and I would love to see Denver win, just because I like Russell. I get he gets a lot of hate, but I like him. He's a good guy. You know, I I think he looks like a good leader, but obviously I wasn't there. I'm not there, so can't tell. But yeah, I mean, and not to like leave that game, but obviously just to keep it rolling. I didn't realize we had a primetime game so early. Miami at New England. So kind of see what Tua is about against the Belichick defense. I mean, we've seen it past couple years, but every time we play New England, it's just one of those like low scoring, just division games. Just what you expect. So, uh,
It's nice that you're dodging having to go to New England like later in the year,
yeah,
so it's not as cold. So that's
we
nice.
also go to Buffalo early. So
Nice.
yeah, so
We go
they.
to Buffalo like the week after Christmas.
Hey, I know you're a hot
Freezing.
state team, but enjoy this
3 feet of
10-degree
snow.
weather.
Yeah.
Rico Daddle legacy game coming.
Christmas, post Christmas. But yeah, Miami, New England, obviously would love to see Tua keep rolling. But the Belichick defense, it's always stout. Gave Hurts a problem last week. So, I mean, just kind of see what they're about. And Mac Jones, I mean, just in my opinion, I hate the fact that we're in the same division, but it's just one of those things that I respect him and I think he's a good quarterback, but it's just one of those weeks that I do want to watch him lose. But I don't know if the Patriots would start 0-2, but obviously I think the Dolphins can take this one. But it's going to be one of those hard fought division games. So yeah,
2
and
Monday night games.
yeah, I did see that. I saw that advertisement and I was very confused.
Why?
But I have
That's
no
odd.
idea. I know it's normally they do it, but usually it's the first week of the season. So that's why I found it odd that it was the second week of the season. But yeah, New Orleans, Carolina home opener. Um,
That's a prime time game.
yeah, prime
Solid.
time. New Orleans is a really good defense. Always really have.
Bryce Young's first home game.
Yeah, Bryce's first home game. And just hoping to kind of build some confidence. After last week, 2 picks, 1 TD, just kind of get the ball rolling. It's going to be hard. I mean, because it's a division game. Obviously, I know we're talking a lot about division games, but there's just so many early in the year this year. So it's going to be one of those good smash mouth games, and hopefully Carolina ends up with a W. But
if they could both find a way to lose, that would be very beneficial for us. So
yeah,
Into
both
tie.
teams lose. I don't even think the tie is going to work. I think they both have to lose.
yeah, they both need to lose that game actually.
It just continues forever. But yeah, no, I mean it's gonna be a good game. Excited, Bryce, prime time, kind of get that spotlight and really see what he's about. Just
Michael Thomas legacy game on Monday night.
oh yeah, slant
He
man.
officially comes back, establishes himself as wide receiver 1 in the league.
Yeah,
Shout out our boy Raph, thinking Michael Thomas is going to have a legacy career season this year.
yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I would love to go watch it, obviously, but going to a different game, and yeah, hoping Carolina keeps pounding, but it's gonna be a good game. And then the second game of the week on Monday night is a Cleveland Pittsburgh. Again, they hate each other. The North hates each other. Would love to see Kenny Pickett bounce back, but I mean Deshaun Watson, he looked pretty good last week, and I mean they still got Nick Chubb, Amari,
Need Amari Cooper to go nuts.
yeah,
So Cleveland starts off with 2 division games.
yeah. So
That's
does
wild.
Baltimore, or so does Cincinnati. Sorry,
Damn.
Cincinnati plays Baltimore, so that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of division games recently. Like,
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it usually starts, like week 3, week 4, but
yeah,
pretty crazy.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be good. Like those division games, it's nice to get them out a little bit early, but also just kind of test your team, see what they're about. And not to get off topic again, but it was ruled a touchback. Justin Jefferson fumbled out of the end zone when he tried to reach for it.
Oh,
And yep, there's like 10 seconds left in the quarter, so wrapping this up right around halftime. But yeah, just anything else y'all want to talk about, with the week, just any of the games, just kind of already reviewed most of them.
you want to do pick 'em for this week for the NFL schedule?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you want to just kind of like go down key matchups, or do you want to just pick the whole games?
We'll
Okay,
just
this
pick
is
wins.
not betting advice.
No. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I just meant like wins and losses.
Yeah,
Like who you got?
So yeah, I mean, we'll just go down the list again. Just what the time slots are. Minnesota, Philadelphia. I got Philly.
I think Philly pulls it out. Yeah.
JR, you
Green
want to
Bay,
chime
Atlanta.
JR is not chiming in. Green Bay,
Yeah,
Atlanta.
No.
Philly that one.
You got Philly.
Yeah.
Green Bay, Atlanta. I got Green Bay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
picking Green Bay as well.
No, I mean, I can definitely see it going both ways.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I mean, I do too, but
pulling it out, but I can definitely see Green Bay taking that one as well.
I mean, I think it just comes down to quarterback play. Jordan Love, I think, is better than Ritter, but I mean, it also depends if they can get that pass game going. Like I said, just that's what I want to see. So Green Bay, Philly, both agreed on that one, or all three. Las Vegas, Buffalo. I got Buffalo.
Yeah, I got Buffalo as well.
Yeah, I can see Buffalo bounce it back this week.
Baltimore, Cincy. We might see some disagreements here. I think I'm going with Baltimore. So
I think it's I don't know. I'm hoping for my fantasy team to take that Natty at least does something.
Who do you got?
I'll take Cincinnati. They win at home.
Yeah, I think I'm going Cincy in that game too. I think it just depends on how Lamar shows up. If he plays like he did last week, it could be a rough week for Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, I think Baltimore almost had him last year in the playoff, and if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson being out, they would have took that. So it's my reasoning. I just think Baltimore is kind of better established at the moment, and Joe Burrow's still kind of, injury, like still injured, in my opinion. But yeah, Detroit, Seattle. I got Detroit going with the
Yeah, we
one
got Detroit
pride.
as well.
I'm gonna say
Their home
Detroit.
opener. Yeah.
Mm,
Home
I
opener
think that'll
after
be.
beating the Chiefs. You're telling me you're not going to be hyped?
I think that could
Yeah, I
be a
think the hype
solid
is
game
gonna
though
be.
too. I think Seattle could bounce back this week too and give them a run
Yeah,
for
I
their
mean,
money.
no team wants to start 0-2. So,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a good match. I still
1-1
got
looks a whole
Detroit.
lot better than 0-2.
Yeah. So then we got Los Angeles, Tennessee. I got the Chargers pulling this one
Take
out.
LA.
I'm not a Chargers
Yeah.
fan, but I just can't see Ryan Tannehill beating Justin Herbert
yeah.
if it comes to a shootout.
I think that one's pretty much
I mean, you
yours.
might even see the rookie quarterback, Will Levis, or what's the other guy's name?
Malik
Malik
Willis.
Willis. Yeah. Might even see one of those guys come in this week, just because. I mean, last week, like I said, Carolina or New Orleans defense is good, but man, that was horrible by Tannehill. Chicago, Tampa Bay. I got Chicago bouncing back. Justin Fields really needs to kind of pick up the slack and just gonna show him why he's picked as one of the better quarterbacks in the league and kind of get his respect back.
Yeah, I think Chicago bounces back as well. Also, yeah, I think Justin Fields doesn't get the respect he deserves as well. So
I mean,
hopefully he'll get a little bit of
his
that
wide
back.
receiver room is horrible. It's
Yeah,
got
He's running for
DJ.
his life.
Yeah, so I mean, it's can't really do much, but I mean, I think his command will help him out a lot, and I mean, DJ will also step it up a little bit, and Khalil Herbert. I mean, I think he had a pretty good fantasy game. I mean, I know it was like late touchdowns, I think, but he still had a good fantasy game. Kansas City, Jacksonville. Taking Kansas City. I just don't see them going 0-2 to start the year. Jacksonville, I think, will put up a fight. The last thing they're going to do is lose at home, and especially after what happened last year when they played Kansas City and almost had him. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes getting that sensu bean at halftime with that ankle, it was something like that. Yeah, man, he got something. He got jabbed something. He
Horse tranquilizer at halftime. Yeah.
something, man. That man came back with a vengeance. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
Yeah. I'll take Kansas City as well. I don't think they start 0-2.
I think like we said earlier, I think this is game of the week candidate. I think it could go really either way, but going into Duval and winning that game against them is going to be tough. So
especially
I can
after
see
like
that.
the amount of hype that team has now. Like
Yeah,
the Jags are legit, and they're probably one of the contenders when it comes to the playoff in the AFC.
oh, yeah.
Colts, Indy, Houston. I'm taking the Colts. I'm taking Indy.
Yeah.
Just
Give me
I,
Anthony Richardson.
I think AR5 is gonna have the better QB play when it comes to that game than CJ Stroud. I'm not saying that Stroud's a bad quarterback. I just think Richardson has started off better than Stroud. So
Yeah, I think the Colts take that one. I think they're just the better all around team over Houston. So
yep. San Francisco, Los Angeles division game. I'm taking San Fran. I'd love to see Stafford kind of take over and kind of get this win for the team and help out, but just San
Yeah.
Francisco is way too dominant in my opinion at the moment. They're just one of the best teams right now in the country, and
Yeah.
sorry, the
I'll take
nation.
San Fran. Take San Fran as well. I think this game's different once Cup comes back, but it'll
Yeah,
also be in San Francisco. So
yeah, and I think you're probably not going to win it in San Fran if you're going to win this game.
yeah.
But yeah, New York, Arizona, or Jared, you pick that one? San Francisco, Los Angeles.
yeah, I mean I'm on the same train with the Niners there.
Yeah, it's hard to stay off that one because I mean they're just so dominant. New York, Arizona, Giants. I'm taking the Giants. Just I don't see the Cardinals winning much without Kyler. I just don't
Yeah.
think they're a complete team without Kyler.
Yeah. I don't think New York is as bad as Dallas made them look. So I mean, I think they can at least beat
Yeah, I mean it's
the
just one of
Cardinals.
those.
It's a must win, honestly, for
Mm-hmm.
them. So
Yeah, I mean it just started off really bad and just never built that morale back and just kind of took it on the chin the whole night.
I think you could flip a coin on this game, and whoever it lands on, I would completely agree with you because it's complete shit shows for both of these teams. So I think it's whoever wins, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's gonna be one of those games. I just think the Giants are the better team because, like I said, there's no Kyler. If there was a
Yeah.
Kyler, I think I would go Cardinals in this game.
I think arguably the difference maker here is Daniel Jones, ironically. So
And then we got Jets
Jets,
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yep.
If Aaron Rodgers was, I would take the Jets if Aaron Rodgers was playing. To be honest with you, Aaron Rodgers owns Dallas, but it's Zach Wilson. It's the Zach Wilson show now. Still have to play that crazy defense. I'll take Dallas in their home opener, but the Jets are not a slouch. They can't overlook the Jets. So
Yeah, I mean, I just think the Jets are dominant. Sorry, JR, you feel free.
now go ahead.
I just think the Jets are going to be dominant the whole game. Better defense, but when it comes down to it, I just think the Cowboys have the better offense because of the quarterback play. So I'm going to go Dallas as well. Usually don't go with Dallas, but I'm kidding. I just wanted to see that Buck smile, but I am going Dallas. I just, like I said, I think it's the QB play when it comes down to this game.
Yeah, I think I'm going Dallas too in that one. Just, I mean, like Buck said, it's just if they had Aaron Rodgers, it's a whole different conversation. So Zach Wilson leading that offense. I mean, they're still great. Like that's still a good overall team, but I just think Dallas is, coming off that high from last week with that amazing defensive play, and then get the offense getting it done when it needed to. I think it's going to Dallas this week.
Yeah, for sure. Then we got Washington, Denver. This might be a toss up between everybody. I mean,
it's another point flip game.
Yeah. I'm going with Denver just because quarterback experience, but I mean, I'm not going to count out Washington at all. It's just until Denver kind of proves that they're back, I don't really want to pick them.
I think if they have Judy in this game, it would be different. Like giving Russ another offensive.
Is Judy out for 4? Is he out for 4?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I can't remember what injury he has, but he's out.
He got a hamstring or something, right?
I think. Yeah, he's out for a few weeks. So I think if he was on the field, that would make a difference. But overall, I don't see the Broncos getting by the Commanders with that offense unless they can just get something going and have one of those days. So
yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos, like I said, outright. But I need to see some more out of them.
Yeah,
even the Broncos as well.
Miami, New England, obviously in Foxborough, so that's the biggest thing about this. I just think that when it comes down to it, that Miami, I mean, it's bias as well, but they're just the better offense. It's kind of hard to stop that explosiveness because I mean, what's going to happen is you might have to be in a track meet. I love Mac Jones, but I don't think they have the wide receivers to keep up or the speed to keep up with this team. So
yeah, I've got Miami as well. Yeah, it's just I'm not even sure who their corners are in New England anymore because J.C. Jackson's gone, I think.
Yeah, he's on the chart.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it just comes down to what guard Tariq and Waddle and
even then, I mean, you still got Cedric Wilson, Eric Ezukanma, their speed
also solid.
Their speed all around that. I mean, Braxton Berrios, he came up, had some pretty good catches, last game as well. And River Craycraft. Probably don't hear about him much unless it's on Red Zone because he catches a touchdown. But yeah, I mean,
one of the white guys of the NFL.
But yeah, no, I mean,
white guy.
And even then, I mean, Mostert, I think he had a really big run last week. I mean, he's just one of those guys that can take the top off if he needs to. And
he had a pretty
Raheem Mustard.
Yeah, once A-Chain comes back too, man, that guy is
he's tough,
speed demon. So
can't stop the A-Chain.
Yeah, it's too much speed. But yeah, like I said, I got Miami outright on that one. Monday night matchups, New Orleans, Carolina. I'm going with Carolina even though I know New Orleans is probably the better vetted team. But I'm definitely going to pick Carolina to win this one just because I want Bryce Young to win his first game, especially at home.
I've got New Orleans in this one. I think, yeah, too
Yeah.
much veteran force on New Orleans' side. It's
Yeah.
early. I don't know if Carolina sees them like now. I think Carolina has a better. I don't know if they have a better shot of beating them in New Orleans, but they have a better shot of
Yeah. I
winning
mean, if
later
you're
in the
going to get
season, I
this
think.
team, you get them at home. I don't think you win it
Yeah.
in the dome.
Yeah.
All of the NFC South games are always split. Like we'll always split with the Saints. We'll always split with the Panthers. I think it's the same thing here. I think the Panthers have a good chance in Charlotte, but
Yeah.
Saints defense.
If you're going to get the team, you're getting them at home.
Yeah,
You're getting them in your
so,
home stadium. So,
mhm.
so yeah. And then last one is the Cleveland Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Browns just because I mean the dominance on the Bengals. I mean that Bengals have been running the North for a while now, or at least a couple seasons, and for them to just dismantle them and kind of beat them morally just kind of shows a lot about the Browns. I think I even picked up the Browns defense on my fantasy team because of how dominant they looked, in my opinion. So I mean, it's just
Yeah, I've got the Browns as well.
I think QB play big factor. I mean, Deshaun Watson's the vet, but also like just defensive wise. I mean, I'm not saying that the Steelers don't have a good defense. I mean, historically they always do because of Tomlin and just the like the mentality of the Steelers. You know, just kind of having the smash defense and just pounding the ball down your throat. Just, but I think Cleveland takes this one, especially in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a difficult game because of the rivalry, but just think Deshaun Watson has the better QB play.
I want the same thing there. I think Cleveland takes that one, especially with how they looked last week.
Yeah, I mean, to do that to the Bengals, I mean, I get it. Joe Burrow still might be hurt, but
I mean, another thing is too, like we were talking about earlier, it was raining and like there was weather or whatever, but Cleveland figured it out in the second half. And
but another thing is like it's raining for both teams.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, the whole T Higgins
And
to
since he
no
just
points.
threw in the towel.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I think didn't Joe Burrow go out like towards the end of the game?
Yeah, he left towards the end of the game.
Which, yeah. So is that like another, like you were saying, like is that injury related or is that just this is the first game? This game's over with.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just that moral defeat. Like they broke him down mentally, and to do that to the Bengals after what they've done to the NFC or AFC North, it's just like is this team legit? And I mean, I feel the Browns think they're legit. So, but yeah, so that's the pick 'em for the week. Obviously, college football we didn't do a really pick 'em, but just kind of obvious, kind of just reviewing the games and just hopefully a better week for me as far as college football. It'd be really sad if we lost, but I mean, it's just one of those games where you don't lose, But we'll figure it out, and kind of hopefully better days ahead. Still, as Willie says, don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. So, roll Tide, roll. But anyways, yeah, looks like another good week of football. Can't complain. I mean, thankful for another week. So, but yeah, anything you guys want to end off with? Yeah, any
No.
rise up? We got to get JR a camera, bro. But yeah, I mean,
Weed and boys.
Yeah, there you go.
GBO.
Yeah, GBO. There you go. Also wanted to shout out to Culture Kicks personally. If you're from around the area, you'd obviously know. But also, just thankful for those guys. Not really a sponsorship, but a shout out to them. And yeah, just anybody that's here supporting, thank you. And comment down below if you made it this far. Majority of you probably didn't. But hey, I'd like to think, if you guys want us to talk about other stuff, if you guys want us to, talk about baseball. I know playoff baseball is coming up. The Braves, clinched.
Braves
So it's just
5
gonna be,
times.
yeah. Um, I know basketball is right around the corner. What else is there? Yeah, I mean, soccer. I'm sure there's something going on. I'll look into it if you want me to. But yeah, just excited, man. Thankful for football. Thankful for these guys, and hope to just keep building. So, like I said, just if you made it this far, let us know. Comment down below. Leave a like if you liked it. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike and just kind of tell us why. Tell us we suck. Tell us we have bad takes. We'd love to hear your we'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, just give us a follow at the BOH Boys on Instagram, on Twitter, on Threads, and yeah, check us out. Leave us a review, and we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully with some more football.
Thanks, JR, for joining us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks, JR. Thanks, JR. Thanks for joining us. And
Yeah.
if you guys, we'll have some more guests in the future. JR, obviously, if he'd love to come back, we'd love to have him. So, yeah. But you guys have a good week. Enjoy the football and be safe. And bet responsibly. Don't take us as betting advice. So, but if you win big, please let us know, and maybe throw in some extra cash for me.
$1 gazillion bajillion dollars.
All right, though. Y'all have a good night, good week, and we'll see y'all.